And oh boy, after vlogging is when I started to get not anxious, but nervous about needing to go and get stuff and wanting to record, but needing to go walkies. Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. I forgot to check what the weather's going to be like today, but I'll tell you what. It's another day wherein I have the fan going in the window. I had the fan going down here. I'm wearing this because I'm too cold, and I have the space heater on at 65 for the kitty cat and the hamster, and me because I'm too cold and too hot at the same time. I don't have a comfortable middle. From 32 to 69, noise. I am too cold. From 70 up, I am too warm. I don't have a middle comfort zone. I'm either too cold or too warm or both at the same time. Oh joy. And of course, hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, it'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these literally beautiful and literally awesome people. They are literally beautiful, literally awesome. They help to keep me and my pets alive. And I am very, very grateful for that. Thank you to no end. It is very, very much a good thing. Without this, I and my pets would be hosed like Christmas monkeys, and trust me, that is not a good way to be hosed. If you'd like to help me out, I have links to the Patreon in the video description. If you don't want to become a patron, but you want to help out, there's a PayPal link for donations. If you'd like to help without sending money, there's an Amazon wishlist link. And of course, I have a P.O. box if you want to send me postcards, keychains, or anything at all. Thumbs up for that. And hey, front loading a video is over. Thumbs up. And oh boy, insomnia again last night, except it wasn't even insomnia. It was my own fault. So what a lie right there. I tried to go to bed from like 11:30 onward. And then I had so much stuff that I ended up having to do that it was close to 1 o'clock before I finally got the lights turned out. So I did sleep, but I set my alarm for an hour later. So I'm running an hour behind this morning. Oh joy. But I feel pretty good for having slept in that hour. It's a good thing. I mean, I have a sleep deficit decades deep. I'm not ever going to be able to catch up on it. Life is life. And I do want to talk about my kitty cat. She is as active as an old kitty can be. I mean, even when I could keep the door open, she would just go into my bedroom and then sleep and then come in here and then eat and then go back into the bedroom and sleep. She's not active. I mean, cats sleep most of the day anyway, and that's what they're supposed to do. So that's not wrong. So she still sleeps a lot, but she's still active. She watches me, she walks around the room, she jumps on my lap, she goes over there and drinks, she uses her cat box. I mean, she's active. She's not just a loose, limp pile of rags or anything. And she's not thoroughly thin yet, because while she's really not eating much at all, even compared to what she was doing, she's still at least sometimes licking up some of the cat food juice. So we're entering the end stage, and if she ever shows any signs of suffering, then I'm going to have to do what I can and try to get her in so that I can end her suffering. But oh my gosh, talk about pressure on my head. I'm a cat person. I have had cats my whole life, and it has been devastating each time I've lost one. So past that, let me check on my list here. There's the middle ground thing. Oh yes, because of my kitty cats, I'll put out food and then she'll just sniff it and then come over and then say, you need to feed me. no matter what I put down. I mean, I will put down 3 things. I'll put down some chicken breasts with chicken breast juice, canned chicken breast, and she will not even go over to it. And then I'll open up a can of tuna fish, and she might walk over to it. And then take a can of, purchased at a store actual cat food by like Purina, and she might sniff that. She may go and lick up some of it in the next hour, 2 hours after I put it down, but maybe not. So, because I had nothing, I walked to Walmart early, did an early walkies yesterday. And oh boy, after vlogging is when I started to get not anxious, but nervous about needing to go and get stuff and wanting to record, but needing to go walkies for my kitty and wanting to record, but I need to get. So finally, I went on walkies during the daytime up to Walmart so that I could get food. And I got back, and yeah, I was just a nervous wreck for the rest of the day. Did not hit an anxiety level, but was just nervous. So I was unable to do anything like any of the solo RPGs or anything like that. Anything where I needed to really think was out of the question. So thumbs up. But at least I did play some computer type games, and that was good, and I was able to pass the time that way. And I did some creative thinking while I was out walking, but just to check and see if there's anything else in the world that happened that I wanted to talk about, and no, that's it. That's all that happened yesterday. Me being really nervous, having a bit of trouble with staying awake in the early part of the day, because yesterday I had actual insomnia I was suffering from, so I fell asleep in the early morning part of the day just after getting my vlog uploaded. Yay! Life is life. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world. It's just life. Thumbs up. On the other hand, I've still been trying to think of creative stuff on all of my different settings. I mean, I need to talk and remind people all about the cosmic horror framework that's created and the multiverses and why this individual universe is the way it is, because the inside, outside, and the razor's edge between them is a pretty odd setting, even for a multiverse, but it's still good. And thumbs up for that. And then why and how all the cryptid material and why there's cryptid energy and such, and then all the cryptids and how they exist and live. So there's a lot to this setting. I mean, literally, when I say I have this much work that I'm going to use this much of to write this much of a story, it's like, yeah, I'm putting a ton of effort into this, largely because it is so pleasurable. And if I was younger and didn't have the mental and physical conditions that I do, oh boy, I could have made a living writing a huge series of novels about the inside, the outside, where we are, the razor's edge, the cryptid individuals. Hokey smokes. However, I'm not that person. I thought I had a 12-inch plate that I could pile food on at a buffet and wondered why I kept spilling stuff. Turns out I only had a coffee cup saucer size plate, and I was thoroughly overloading it, so no wonder it didn't work. So yay. But one of the things I talked about yesterday was the hardiness of cryptids in our world. And yes, they are very hardy, and they are fine until they're not fine, and then things tend to fail rather spectacularly. Let's talk about like weaponry and damage to individuals, because normal matter doesn't really have a lot of effect damage-wise on cryptids. They are made of cryptid energy, cryptid material, just like in our energy stuff. Matter is basically frozen energy. Same thing. They are made of frozen energy. Matter is just cryptid matter from the cryptid energy that's pouring through the one-way gates that fill our world. If you were to take a normal matter knife and just stab it through the chest of a cryptid into their heart and then pull it back out, they would have a momentary, oh, as an unpleasant feeling. But even as you're pulling the knife out, this flesh is knitting itself back together. So when you pull that knife out, there's pain, but just snap, snap, and it's all knitted back together and healed up. Even if you stabbed a cryptid in the brain with your blade, you pull that back out, if there's not a ton of damage, that's just going to heal back up. It's going to take a time because it's a brain. But if it's just a stab in, stab out, you're going to be okay after a time. You can, if you have a larger blade, cause serious damage. Because if you say you had a very sharp knife that was this thick, and you were trying to cut through a cryptid arm, as the blade went through and hit the middle, this part's already knitting together. So as you come out, it's not falling off, it's already halfway knit up behind the blade coming out. You can't really, unless you can separate quickly, hurt a cryptid with a blade. Now, impact weapons and blades with impact weapons, well, with impact weapons with blade edges like axes, yeah, if you hit a cryptid with an axe, like an arm or such, that's going to come off, and then it's not going to grow back. It's off. So you can take off parts if you can do it quickly. If you just have an impact weapon, of course, if you stave in the side of a cryptid skull, that's it. Because there's just, the brain is smashed, parts of it out of the head, and even with that, there's skull parts jamming into and squashing and ripping the brain apart. They're gone. If you can impact a cryptid's head with a normal weapon, yeah, they're gone. So impact weapons can do stuff as well. What can really screw up a cryptid is a normal handheld ranged force multiplying weapon. Bang, bang. If you can take out the heart quickly on a cryptid, it won't have a chance to grow back, and then they're going to pass out from low blood pressure, and then they're going to die because there's no blood to be pumped through their bodies. If you take out the brain with a projectile, there's no chance for that brain to knit itself back together, and especially a shotgun, moderate power, is going to devastate even a cryptid because it blasts holes. And so, yeah, you're going to be able to take them out. Now, if you have cryptid material, there are natural materials in our world that can affect various cryptids. Some of them, like, it depends on the cryptid type. A type of vampire cryptid, garlic, it will kill that type of cryptid. Silver will kill some types of werewolf cryptids. So there are, depending on the cryptid and depending on our world, various natural materials that can just take them apart. In the cryptid world, if you have a cryptid knife and you stab a cryptid, that's it. They've got a hole in them that's not just going to knit up, they're going to bleed out. And you can really mess up a cryptid with a cryptid weapon just like you mess up a normal human with a normal human weapon. And then if you add cryptid materials, like Lynn Tanner has a combat shotgun across his back, and he just whips that thing out when he needs it. And the gun itself is made of cryptid metals and woods, and very expensive ammunition with all the buckshot coated. Now it's a nice whistle. All the buckshot is coated in a cryptid metal. So it really tears cryptids apart as well as normal human beings when he fires that thing. But I mentioned yesterday something terrible happens to Lynn Tanner, as much as I like him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. But at one point, I was imagining, like, say, there's a meeting between King Mike, the ghoul, the de facto ruler of the Brookerton, South Carolina Cryptids, where he's got a bunch of people together. And somebody starts walking up toward King Mike, and nobody's got a real bad feeling about this. And so Lynn just says, hey, what are you doing? Head back and sit down. And this guy just brings up a pistol, puts it up against Lynn's forehead, and there's that moment of everything seems to slow down, then bam. And that bullet has enough force to go through his skull. Luckily for him, it doesn't tumble. It keeps it spiral. But it still has enough force to go out the back of his head. Not enough force to take out any brain or bone as it comes out. There is a hole in the wall where the bullet hits. It's only a tiny little exit wound in the back of his head, so by the time he's even hitting the ground, and yeah, it looks like he's buckling at the knees and going backwards like this, like he's been smacked in the head, and then he's down. So that bullet went right through this side of his head, right through the brain. All the other cryptids there, they don't even worry about Lynn Tanner as they're assessing and taking care of the threat. Because if there's something hard enough to hit a cryptid like that, there are basically three outcomes. The first is they're dead, in which case you don't need to waste any energy trying to figure out what to do for them. You need to take care of the threat. Or they're so injured that they're going to die, in which case you don't need to expend any energy trying to figure out what to do with them. You've got a threat to take care of. Or they're going to heal up and maybe be okay or such, but still that's their body that has to take care of it, not you. And you've got a threat to take care of. So in all these situations, yeah, they're just going to ignore the fallen cryptid because either they're gone or they're going to get better. So let's take care of the threat. Jerry is panicked and worried, and he freaks out about it. He runs over to Lynn Tanner to try and take care of him, who's busy having, a seizure on the ground. And finally, when they get one of the human doctors in there to take a look at him, it's like your friend said, he's still alive, so that's good. We're going to have to wait until he heals up enough he can talk, and then we can start assessing any damage as he continues to heal. I was also thinking that since, cryptids, if you need to heal, you need a lot of stuff coming in. And if you are in a coma like that, you can't just eat. So they're going to have to put a tube down his nose and into his stomach. Well, what would really help a cryptid like Lynn, who does need to eat human flesh about 3 or 4 times a year? Well, they managed to find a bunch of volunteers who do donate a pint of blood. And then they find someone who's not really a volunteer, and they take some of the limbs and they really process them into a fine slurry, mix it with the blood, and then run it through the tube and into Lynn's stomach so that he can eat as he's comatose. Yeah, the people who donate the blood are fine. The people that they use to make the meat slurry to mix the blood with, that they're not fine. But don't worry, they don't waste anything. They eat the people that they take the limbs from. So no meat goes to waste. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, well, I got ADHD and depression and a whole bunch of things. So I'm actually pretty lucky my brain even works. We have Sledge and Wedge. Oh boy, my poor kitty. I gotta do what's right when it's time. There's Althea F, thumbs up and thank you. Foggy Nights, thank you very, very much. Aiden Quinn, greatly appreciated. Zach Campbell, oh, she's hanging in, but we're getting to the end. Melissa R, greatly appreciated, and here's hoping. There's J-A-Y-Y, thumbs up, thank you much, and good to see you in the comments. Kiko Splendito, thumbs up and thank you very much. We have Richard OJ EDA Lopez, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. We have Off the Radar, greatly appreciated. JALEAH Logan, greatly appreciated. Chris, thumbs up and thank you, good to see you. SDAL, thank you very, very much. We have Namey McNameface, as much as it's about a very grim post I made. That was a funny username, so thank you very much. There's Anna NAKAGAWA. I'm normally pretty good with names, but not this morning. Thank you very, very much. There is Love. That was 14, so this is 14. I've forgotten how to do 15. I've forgotten how to do, that's 15. 15? I have literally forgotten how to do 15 in sign language. Thank you very, very much. We have Big T, greatly appreciated. There is Bizarre Carmen, I like the name, and thank you very, very much. Noah Geneve Brown, which I'm quite sure I've forgotten how to pronounce your name, but thank you very, very much. Ben B, greatly appreciated, and yeah, and RJ Mitchell, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. We have Killer Krieg, thumbs up and thank you. Jesse Koskinen, greatly appreciated and good to see you in the comments. Daniel Carson, thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you. 23 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated, especially since, and this actually is not an especially since, but thank you very much, each and every one of you who have watched this far without just clicking away earlier. It is appreciated very, very much. No one forces you to watch. You do this of your own volition. Thank you so very, very much. I'm just going to take the day easy. I mentioned on Facebook and Twitter yesterday, I had anxiety 5 of the last 7 days. I've been plagued with insomnia. I have had worry after worry. I am exhausted. I'm going to take today easy. I'm going to try and record something, but I am just mentally and physically exhausted. So yay. But hopefully you can do what you want to do today, whether it's relaxing or being productive. Definitely a thumbs up on that. If you can't do what you would like to do, don't beat yourself up. That will not help. And of course, with the illnesses and pandemics and diseases and people getting sick and dying, please just take appropriate care for your situation and your location. Just please be smart about the whole thing. Hokey smokes. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.